Hello fantastic creatures, I'm fantasims and welcome to my channel. Now in the previous update for toolmod, we can now use toolmod in build mode so long as you have better build by right here and toolmod installed. But just over a week ago, I believe, a brand new update to the toolmod took place and TwistedMexi has now made it possible to rotate entire groups of objects together using a new feature called rotate around center. And I'm going to show you how to do that using this dragon I created ages ago when I first started using toolmod. And one of the things that really bummed me out was I wanted to make a second version and make it so that one's facing straight because this one is facing at a 45-degree angle. I wanted the option to also make a straight one just in case in a build someone wants to use it the straight way around. But of course I couldn't without recreating it a second time, and it took me almost 3 days when I first made this, so there was no way I was going to do that again. But now we can rotate this entire group of objects as if it is one solid object, and I will show you how to do that. Now of course with toolmod you can just click on an object and then hold the Alt key down and then keep clicking all the other objects you want to include in the group to be rotated. But even easier than that, because there are so many pieces to be selected and some of them are tricky to click on, like these debug light flares from Realm of Magic. So you can use something which is a feature that's been in toolmod for a while, and if you go to options and then it'll be the toggle group. But first you want to set the parameters for your group, and the grid system for this is slightly different because the entire world is set on a grid system just like the lot is set on a grid system, but sometimes the lots are actually placed at an angle, so I'll show you what I mean by that. So in order to set the grouping box, you hold the shift key down and you click on a corner like that, and then you click the shift key and click on the other corner to create a box. But see how it's at an angle and it's not flowing in the same direction as the grid of the lot? That's because this entire world is set on a grid system that is based on this angle. So hopefully that's not too confusing, but what it means is sometimes it can be a bit tricky to get the box to line up where you want it. So I'm realizing that in order to fit everything in, this corner of the box is perfect, but this corner is not. So I'm going to widen it even further like that by just holding the shift key down and clicking on it. And then you just go to toggle group, you click on toggle group and it will select everything. And then what you'll do is you'll go to rotate, and I've already clicked on it, rotate around center, but if I didn't look at all those lines, because it would try to, oops, let's undo that. This happens all the time. I end up clicking on the floor by accident. So let's cancel this and click options, click undo, put it back where it was. Okay, let's go back to the rotate. As I was saying, all of these circular lines are because without this rotate around the center activated, it will try to rotate each individual object piece in all of these directions. So we don't want that. So you click on rotate around center, and what it's going to do is it's going to find the center of the object collection and rotate around the center, as the name implies. Now another feature that TwistedMexi has included in his update is you see how this circle has a thicker line on one side going thinner, and that's because he's helping us out by letting us know that in order to twist it this way it needs to be a negative number, and in order to twist it this way it's a positive. So the thicker part of the line is negative and the thinner part of the line is positive, and that has helped me so many times because I always forget which way to rotate something. So let's say I want it facing forward, I need to rotate it around this way, which is going to be a negative number, and I'm going to do negative 45. So negative 45, okay, and you need to give it a second. And there you go, the entire thing has rotated around facing that angle, and you can make it rotate to any angle that you want. So this is by far my favorite update to the toolmod because as you can see here, throughout my entire time using the toolmod, I've always had to create a straight and an angled version of everything, and it is just tedious and it takes forever. But now we can make multiple angled versions of everything we create. Oh, and before I show you, one last thing to keep in mind, in order to get rid of this grouping box, just go to options and hide grouping box and it will remove it from your view. Now one last thing to keep in mind is, let's say that you constructed your own custom archway like this, and I mean these are ginormous, but if you made a smaller version that fits within the size of the wall, keep in mind that if you were to rotate it at a 45-degree angle to go up against the diagonal wall, when you use doors they actually stretch when you put them on the angled wall. So let's use one of these archways, and notice how this archway takes up 4 tiles wide on the straight version and 3 tiles wide on the angled version, because as you can see the thickness of the tiles at a diagonal is a lot wider than at the straight angle. So the reason I'm mentioning that is because let's say you were to create something that fit over these 3 tiles. If you rotate it to put it against this 3 tile wall at an angle, it's going to come short of the sides, if that makes sense. So if you have an object that is this wide and you try and put it up against here, you're going to have gaps on either side, which isn't a huge deal, but it's just something to keep in mind if you're trying to make something that fits up against a door like this. It might not always translate well to just rotate it. You might have to keep in mind that you might need to keep things slightly wider, but overall, this is going to make constructing objects so much easier because now you can just create one version of an object and rotate it in different angles for all different kinds of builds that you create. Something else that's super exciting about this new feature is look at what you can create. You can create domed roofing, perfect circles, and these perfectly rounded rings like so. But I'm going to show you how to do these in the next couple videos, so stay tuned for that. I hope this help explains how to use this new incredible feature of the tool mod. And until we meet again, I love you guys so freaking much.